8:43, welcome back. Well, we've been talking about it all morning long as the Cleveland Browns have now selected their future on the offensive line and at wide receiver. But the excitement does not stop there. Let's send it over to Dave in Studio B because you have a lot more coming our way.
I do. Just a special day, Danita. That is right. A lot of excitement with the NFL draft as the Browns get 2 new players last night and have 3 more picks tonight, assuming they don't make more trades. Joining me now, Scott Petrak from the Chronicle Telegram. Thank you so much for being here, buddy. Always a pleasure to see you.
Thanks for having me.
As I mention all the time, Scott and I have been talking Browns football since 2007. So I know that's wild to think.
It really is.
We've been around the block with this a long time. But the bottom line is, I think, they addressed their 2 biggest needs, correct?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right, Chud. You could talk about what order they should have gone in and which one was more of a pressing need, but it was certainly entering the offseason, left tackle and receiver.
Yeah, and you could have made this argument last year, too. I mean, it's that we've needed a receiver for a long time.
For sure, and they completely ignored it last year, right?
Exactly.
So they needed to, and you just didn't know if Andrew Berry was going to agree because all the fans and media thought a year ago that they needed a receiver, and he did. And maybe Todd Monken's influence there or just how it played out last year. They couldn't score any points for the last 2 years, but it was vital that they got a receiver.
And we talked about that. We do a podcast every week, and we talk about that all the time. With Monken coming in, you had to think that they would go heavy offense here because, I mean, that's what needs to be changed, and you're bringing in a new head coach to change that.
Yeah, it's exactly right. I mean, when you look at it, the defense is a top 5 defense, right? They got Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward. So it makes all the sense in the world that they need to focus on offense. And Andrew Berry was clear about that heading into the offseason. You just never know when you get to the draft what happens, what changes. You go best player available.
That's right.
So it just made sense, and I was glad to see them follow that plan.
Yeah, Andrew Berry goes best player available in his eyes a lot. All right, so let's kind of go step by step and break it down as you're watching the NFL draft last night. First thing that happens is they make a trade. We're not surprised at all that they make a trade, right?
Oh, not at all. That was, first of all, that's his philosophy, right? Acquire as many picks as you can. And plus, this draft felt like there weren't a lot of maybe blue chip guys at those positions they needed, top 5 guys. So I think he was looking to trade down, looking to get extra picks and still get his guy. And you only need to move back 3 spots. Some people complain about what they got in return, but they get a 3rd-round pick, a 5th-round pick, and they still, according to them, get their guy in Spencer Fano.
Yeah, because, Scott, you'd mentioned they would have considered taking him at 6, right?
Yeah, I think if they don't make a trade, they wind up taking, yeah, I like think they wind up taking. So anything you get is gravy.
Okay, so let's break down Fano now, the 9th pick out of Utah. He's a big boy.
He's huge. He's 6'5.5", I want to say 313. I'll tell you what, Chad, before the scouting combine, I watched all the tackles because we knew they needed one. And I was blown away by him. He was my top guy, and then he has short arms, which some people think is a deal breaker. They were trying him at center and guard. I'm like, well, you can't take a center or guard that high, but they're going to play him at left tackle. And if you play him at left tackle, then he's certainly worth the number 9 pick.
So that's a certainty that he will be left tackle?
Yeah, they were adamant about it right away. And sometimes they leave room. Todd Monken and Andrew Berry, he's playing left tackle.
Okay, all right. So overall, I mean, I think we should be pretty happy with this pick. I mean, we need linemen. So let's go now. The next, they don't make any more trades. Right. Now you have the 24 pick because of the trade they made last year. That's
exactly right. And sometimes you not forget about it, but it's like that's not where the focus is. But you have to remember the trading from 2 to 5 last year. You get Mason Graham, you get Quinshon Judkins, and then you get this number 24 pick. And they went and got who they thought was the best receiver at the time. He winds up being the 4th receiver off the board. They took Casey Concepcion ahead of Denzel Boston from Washington, ahead of Omar Cooper Jr. from Indiana. They just love when the ball's in his hands. He's a punt returner as well. He's a guy that the run after catch is huge for him.
Okay, he's fast.
Yes, fast, good route runner. The question is he doesn't catch everything.
Oh, that's not good. That's your job.
Exactly. Now, he had more drops than you like. Andrew Berry said that's part of the job, part of being a receiver. But that is the knock. Casey Concepcion afterwards said that's all he's going to nonstop in the offseason is working on fixing that. But once you get in the ball in his hands, he is electric.
And their return game's been poor.
Right. We were talking last night in the media room, who was the last guy, right? And obviously Joshua Cribbs. And then Travis Benjamin for a while was a really good punt returner. Had some excitement back there, but that's, I don't even know how long, a decade ago. So that was a big bonus to having Concepcion.
They'll both play right away.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. All right, who is a player that we might look back 5 years from now and say, oh my gosh, I can't believe the Browns passed on that guy?
Yeah, it's probably Caleb Downs, the safety from Ohio State. He winds up going 11. Some people thought he was the most talented player in the draft. He probably slides to 11 because he's a safety. And that's not when you talk premium positions, that's not a premium position. So the Browns could have taken him at a 9. He was still there. That was the one player I thought if they don't go offense and they go defense, he would have been the guy. So I think he's who you watch. If they stayed at 6, then Jordan Tyson, the receiver out of Arizona State, he goes at 8. He might have been, in some people's eyes, the best receiver.
Okay, let's break down tonight now. They have 1 pick in the second round and 2 picks in the third round, and they have 2 picks now because of the trade that they made last night. So what do the Browns do tonight, Scott?
Yeah, I think there's a chance to get that safety because if there is a need on defense, it would be safety. There's one out of Toledo who is still there. I thought they might draft him at 24 with Neil Warren Warren Allen. And then they need a center still.
A center.
Right? So I don't think they're done with the offensive line. Maybe in the third round they take a center. And you can always use another receiver too, right? So it's really now it's filling out the depth chart. Linebacker, I think they need another linebacker.
What about quarterback?
It's a great one. Right? You kind of remove it a little bit. I think they take a quarterback at some point in the draft. I'd be a little bit surprised if it came today. I think it's more likely Saturday.
All right, Scott Petrak, Chronicle Telegram. Great job as always. Danita, there he is, breaking it down for us. And I'll tell you, we could go on for another 20 minutes, but we have to get back to you and Matt.
Yeah, but you know what Bristol was saying, man, we could listen to you two talk. I mean, just natural conversation, very juicy. Juicy sports talk.
That's
Juicy.
right.
All right. Thank you, guys. Great job.